Hello, good morning Nigerians. This is the newspaper review here on TAF TV. My name is Eya Okeme. Like you know, here we give Nigerians the opportunities to air out their views in regards to our headlines that are making rounds on our newspaper. Now, before we hit to the street of Port Harcourt, before we get to hear the views of Nigerians, let's hit to the newspaper headlines and see what the newspaper headline has for us today. First on our newspaper headlines, we are considering the Daily Trust. Today being May 24th, 2024, we are seeing on the Daily Trust, we are seeing here on page 12, it says, police arrest journalists in Abuja. Details of that is found on page 12. And on the headline on the Daily Trust here, it says, Sanusi returns as Emir of Kano. You can read that up on page 4. Still on the Daily Trust, we are seeing page 6. National Assembly passes bill to return first national anthem. That is quite a funny one, I must say. You can read that up on page 6. One will always ask, are we actually going forward or we are still revolving around a circle? Now moving on, still on the Daily Trust, we're seeing on page 13, it says, Atiku declares interest in 2027 presidential election. Oh, regardless of all the trials. You can read that up on the Daily Trust, still on page 13. And on page 6, we are seeing Tinubu orders review of Versity's governing councils list after protests. Details of that is found on page 6. FCT residents to enjoy free 2-month ride on Abuja Metro Rail, says Wike. Details of that is found on page 14. Moving on, we are considering the New Telegram. And the headline on the New Telegram says, Kano government reinstates Emir Sanusi as State Assembly sacks Bayori and others. Details of that is found on page 2. And on page 5 and 6, we are seeing Tinubu orders thorough review of tertiary institutions governing boards. Details of that, like I said, is found on page 5 and on page 6. Reps pass bill to revert to old national anthem as state backs Tinubu's proposal. Details of that is found on page 3 and page 5 of the New Telegram. Still on the New Telegram, we're seeing on page 5, it says, Nigerian army operating under difficulty. Details of that is found on page 5. Judge to Tinubu, Nigeria's progress lies in full federalism, good governance. Details of that is found on page 2. All right, lastly for today, we are considering the nations. And on the front page of the Nation newspaper, it says, our ministerial stewardship by Wike, Baduru, Alek, and others. You can read that up on page 2. Still on the Nations, we're seeing on page 6, it says, NANS, NASU, NAPTEP, others hail student loan. Details of that is found on page 6. Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway, Umahi, stakeholders meet on compensation. Details of that is found on page 3. Mohamedu Sanusi reinstates as Emir of Kano. Now, this particular news has been making rounds on every single paper for today. You can read that up on page 4. Lastly, on the Nation newspaper, we're seeing police occupies Cross River Assembly. Details of that is found on page 5. All right, that is all we're having for you in regards to the headlines on our newspaper. Now, let's hit to the street of Port Harcourt and let's get to hear the views of Nigeria in regards to these headlines that are making rounds on our newspaper. Do well to stay tuned. I would like your thoughts as an elder statesman. Yes. On Daily Trust on page 6. It says, National Assembly passes bill to return first national anthem. Now, as at yesterday, they assembled at the National Assembly. They passed a bill that we instead of continuing in a right to compatriots, yes, we're going back to Nigeria. We held it. Do you think this is a good development?
No, it is not. Personally, I consider it as a national abnormality. Okay. Totally. How can we retrogress into something that we have left behind 60 years ago? And one, that is during the imperial reign of the British administration. If you check the lines of the national anthem, it has a colonial words attached to it. Surely. I think the National Assembly should concentrate on things that lift up the development of Nigeria, and not things that are mundane, that are ancient, that are very, very antiquated and not in line with a modern reality.
Obviously, and they are telling us that the old anthem is better than the new one we're using now.
Well, individually, that is their personal opinion. Okay. But have they conducted any plebiscite or national consensus? It is not.
Obviously.
to return to National Assembly, though there are some good words in it, but this recent one is prayer.
Yeah, surely. Yes.
Yeah,
The second stanza itself
is total prayer. What is wrong with that? Those that did it, they know why they did it.
And funny enough, it was just one person that composed the first one. Now the second one was composed by 5 Nigerians.
Yes, I think the best brain from the police conducted the second national anthem. Okay. They should do away with all those imperialistic attitudes. Yes. Okay. I don't know whether they are sponsored or what. Or what is informing them of such consideration? It is wrong.
So, sir, in the space of 1 year, do you think there have been, just like we heard yesterday, yes, our president was asking our ministers to give out scorecards of what they have done. Now, do you think, in regards to what they have told Nigerians, has there been a major impact on the people?
Beautiful. I totally support the call from Mr. President. Okay. Let them give individual and ministerial accounts of what they have done for the past 1 year. Surely. They are accountable to Nigerians and non-Nigerians are accountable to them. Oh, yes. They should be able to put smiles on the faces of Nigerians. Surely. Nigerians are suffering, the youth are suffering, the elders are suffering. Okay. Everybody is suffering, and Nigeria is one of the best countries in the entire world. I agree. If you count the economic indices, Nigeria is among the first third that God has deposited minerals and human resources. Why should they be toiling with the lives of Nigerians? It is wrong. They should lift up their conscience and try to do good things to Nigerians. People are suffering.
All right, sir. Lastly, on the scale of 1 to 10, how will you rate this present government?
Well, this present government, considering the antecedents of the president, he has demonstrated capacity in the past. And I believe that he would demonstrate more capacity in the present. The only issue there is he should assemble best hands and best brains, and not those who are and not bench warmers. Obviously. Yeah, they should not be bench warmers. They should assist the president, though he's old. But I know that Tinubu of Nadeko, Tinubu of 1999, it's still the same Tinubu of today. He should concentrate on the development of the Nigerians. If Nigeria is united and economically focused, Nigeria will be a great country in the entire world. Thank you. Thank you so very much.
All right, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
All right, you're welcome. I would like your thoughts on the Daily Trust that says National Assembly passes bill to return first national anthem. Now they have passed the bill already. We can still remember our first national anthem we held in Nigeria. Is it okay to actually go back to our old national anthem?
Even the old one self, I never even sabi the old one self. Can't talk about to bring new one. And that one, national anthem, no be waiting the border us now like this now. Fuel don't cost. Obviously. People they suffer. Food stuff don't cost. Fuel they cost now. So we shall come in national anthem again. National anthem we go shop. I wonder. Nah, my body weak. When I say they watch national anthem. And the old one say I never even sabi myself. Talk about to bring the new one.
Now they are telling us that this old one is better than the old one they are bringing is better than the current one. How are we sure that instead of them talking about economic growth, they tell us about anthem? Is they okay like that?
You know they okay. You know they okay. Both the old and the new anthem. You know they useful. What we need now make things they well, things they better. No be national anthem something. Obviously. Who are national anthem help now? I beg fuel don't cost. When they talk about how fuel will take on down, dollar don't high. When they talk about dollar want to come down, no be national anthem. National anthem, everything will go shop.
I wonder. Now, our president is 1 year in office, currently celebrating 1 year in office. Do you think there has been a major achievement in space of 1 year?
No. The man self, the man self, na suffer, na he carry come. He's not been a major achievement at all. The man not they try,
Nothing don't change.
Nothing don't come out, nothing change. He changed from better to worse.
Okay. So at least change don't they?
And I did change now.
Right,
so
no, thank you very much.
May they forget national anthem. May they go hide on one side. I beg.
Right, thank you. Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Okay, I also like your thoughts on National Assembly passing a bill to return to our first national anthem, Nigerian we held it, instead of maintaining our right to compatriot. Do you think that it is good they continue that way?
I think they have to think about development because we are lacking in development. Because if you want to start up a new anthem, it is difficult for us to adjust to what that we understand previously. They should focus on development.
Do you think there has been a major effect on this governance on the people?
I think in terms of governance, I've not seen anything beneficial to me. They should focus on the economy, because if you watch where the economy is depreciating, they have to focus on the domestic goods. They have to look for a way to boost the Nigerian economy and to also create a platform that will create an avenue for employment opportunities for the youth. Because if you watch where some of the youth, they are going out looking for a way to research, to gain money through blood money, sacrifice, and all those things. Doing Yahoo, they have to focus on industrialization, how to make sure that industries are being concentrated, so that will create an avenue for job opportunity for the masses. And also not to be exploiting the masses, the people. That's it. They should focus on nothing.
Right. Yes. Can you rate this government in the scale of 1 to 10? Where will you place this present government?
I will place this government in 2.3.
2.3.
Yes,
all right, thank you very much.
Yes, yes.
All right, this is where we come to the end of our newspaper review here on TAF TV. Like you heard, Nigerians were able to pour out their thoughts in regards to the news that are making rounds on our newspaper, especially the ones that has to do with the revamp to our old national anthem. You all can be part of this show. Do well to follow us up on all our social media handles, and if you're yet to subscribe, I don't know what you're waiting for, so that you keep updated each time we bring you trending headlines just like what we have shared with you today. My name is Okeme, and this has been the newspaper review here on TAF TV. Do well to take care of yourself.